Welcome. You ignored me the entire evening. I waved at you like 5 times. Don't tell me you didn't see me. Dong blinked, genuinely taken aback. His mind quickly went to the event of the night, but all he could remember was scanning the crowd to see if Jungkook is watching, wondering who he was talking to, what he was talking, if he was paying attention to Theon. And for a second, his heart sunk a little with guilt. Ah, Bogum, I didn't mean to ignore you, he said softly, pulling him for a small hug. I was just lost. Bogum pulled away with a teasing smile, wiggling his eyebrows. Lost? Did you find someone here in Paris? Is that why you were zoned out the entire show? Dong chuckled nervously. His eyes unintentionally went toward Jungkook, who was already looking at him from the distance. Their gaze locked, and Dong felt a lump forming in his throat. Dong, maybe I found an old diary, the one I thought I buried years ago, because it has so many secrets and memories. But I found it, never turned it into ash. He struck it with a small smile, only to be interrupted by Bogum's laugh. Bogum, wow, you are getting poetic now. The air of the Paris is really doing things to you. Bogum said, that's proof you found someone. Someone what getting all romantic over? Dong stopped mid-shrug. Just then, their manager approached, clapping his hand lightly to gather their attention. Manager, we are heading out in an hour, he announced. Dinner is been arranged in Hotel Plaza Athene. Get ready accordingly. Dong's eyes widened slightly. That name, it wasn't just a hotel, it was a very place that had once rambled about during a late night conversation with Shankar. The place he said he always dreamed of visiting if he ever come to Paris. He remembered it, describing the candelabra, the vintage antiques, the wine color, and how he wanted to wear a soft silk shirt, sit near the window, and just breathe in the Parisian air like a movie character. His gaze drifted again to Shankar. Shankar stood a few steps away, talking to one of the event organizer. But it was as if he sensed Dong's eyes on him. He glanced over him shoulder, locking his eyes again. Dong swallowed. The dinner wasn't a private one. Models, actresses, idols, many were going. It was a grand, elegant affair. Maybe their label wanted to treat everyone. Maybe someone else booked it, or maybe Jungkook had done it just for him. Not. That's what kept ringing in his head as he turned to Bogum with a smile. Look like the diary's pages are unfolding faster than I thought, he said quickly. Bogum arches his brows. So he is here too. Dong didn't respond. He simply offered a smile, already feeling his heart beat a little faster as he still can feel Jungkook's eyes on him. Everyone was sitting down the dinner party. Dong walked gracefully beside Bogum, chatting. Just behind them, Jungkook walked, his eyes occasionally drifting back to the back of Dong's head. Then, the woman clenching slightly to his arm, Suzy. She giggled softly, brushing her shoulder with his. Suzy, you know this venue is even prettier than I expected. Don't you think, Jungkook? Jungkook simply nodded, not taking his eyes off of the soft curl of Dong's hair ahead. Dong caught the sound of the sugary voice and felt annoyed. He rolled his eyes distractedly. A pout forming on his lip. It wasn't jealousy. At least that's what he told himself. It was irritation. That's all. Just then, a large flower vase at the bend of the star caught his attention. It was stunning. Deep burgundy roses, pale ponies, arranged in the brown glass vase. He leaned toward it, admiring the beauty up close. The crowd possessed some photographers sapping the moment, loving the candid grace of the idol with flowers. Jungkook stopped as well and took out his phone. Dong, unaware at first, leaned further, one arm resting on the railing as he leaned his back down toward the vase, smiling. His profile bathed in a soft yellow light. Looking ethereal, Jungkook raised his phone and took several pictures. When Taeyong straightened it, he made Jungkook's eyes. There was something unspoken between them. Jungkook quietly, eyes still on the phone. I will send them to your manager. Taeyong, nodding slowly, cheeks tinting pink. Okay. He liked it that Jungkook had noticed that he had focused only on him. If that moment, even with Suzy hanging by his side, not to be outdone, Suzy stepped forward and leaned similarly as Taeyong trying to pose. Suzy, with any voice, Jeonshi, take my pictures too, please. Jungkook didn't even raise his phone. The cameraman will do it. With a silent nod from him, the assistant photographer stepped in and began clicking pictures of Suzy. Jungkook meanwhile was already walking past her, still looking down at his phone. He had just taken up Taeyong's picture. As he passed Taeyong, the shoulder brushed, not hard but deliberately. Taeyong breathed easier. The sensation, the butterflies in his stomach. Suzy straightened, watching Jungkook, retreating head, clearly irritated. Suzy, under her breath, he is giving all his attention to Taeyong. But Taeyong, he was smiling to himself. They reached to the line of the black cars lined up outside the venue. The rain poured softly, like a soft lullaby. Flashlights from cameras continued in the background, catching every expression, every move. A bodyguard rushed forward to cover Taeyong with an umbrella, but before he could lift it high, a hand from behind gently placed an umbrella over Taeyong's head. He stepped in slightly, raising an umbrella over Taeyong's head. The light diesel was soaking into his suit, wheeling it here slightly, making him look heartbreakingly handsome under the moody Paris sky. Taeyong froze. He looked up to find Jungkook, intense eyes on him. Taeyong, you are getting drenched. He whispered nervously, biting his lower lip, heart pounding at how close they were. Jungkook looked away briefly. It's okay. Taeyong, the guard will do it. Jungkook, I want to do it. Taeyong didn't argue after that. His hand slowly came up to grab Jungkook's wrist, the one holding the umbrella. He gently pulled it under, bringing them close. Their arms pressed, their breath mingled. The world fell silent for a second. Just them, the sound of the rain, and the unspoken thing between their eyes. Jungkook's jaw clenched slightly as he stared at Taeyong. Taeyong stared back. Neither said a word. Both upright, sound by shattered the fragile magic that had wrapped around them. Then click, click, click. Camera shutter snapped them out of it. They both immediately turned their heads, blinking at the flashlights. Neither of them wanted to be the part of the news scandal. Not after how far they had come to be professional and distance. Taeyong took a small step back. Jungkook lowered the umbrella slightly. Jungkook, this is my car. Ride with me. Taeyong insisted. His heart said yes, but his was nervous betrayed him. Taeyong, no, I will ride with Bokumi. He spun around quickly and almost skipped Bokum's side. But just as he was about to open the door, Taeyong softly, like a child, asking for permission. Can I ride with you? Bokum smiles warmly, nodding without hesitation. Of course. Taeyong smiled shyly and clung to Bokum's arm a bit too dramatically, as if trying to show up, but his eyes, just for a split second, looked back at Jungkook. He wasn't rejecting him, he was just too shy to say yes. Jungkook stood still beside his car, watching. Then Suzy approached them behind and slid next to him, her smile sweet and eyes full of some intentions. Suzy, I will ride with you, Jeonshi. Jungkook exhaled sharply, clearly annoyed but too polite to say anything else. Fine. He went inside the car, not sparing another glance at Taeyong. Suzy followed him in front the other side, and the door shut behind both cars. The silence of the city night was filled with the soft beat of rain, heavier now, as if the sky has decided to say out loud everything they couldn't say. They arrived at the restaurant, a private dinner space in one of the Paris' most expensive rooftops, and a view of the glittering Eiffel Tower. A long, elegant dining table already prepared for the guests, silver cutlery, vintage wine glasses, and golden chandelier lined the center. Thong walked in beside Bokam, both still laughing softly about their chaotic rehearsal of the day. Thong, young, the stylish almost set my coat on fire with that steam. Bokum Shukla. That's what you get for flirting with the staff while dressing. Thong smirked before sliding into the chair midway down the table, right beside Bokum. Their conversation shifted to schedule, upcoming shoot in Seoul, and possible magazine features. Just then, bang! A sudden sharp and against the table. Everyone said turn it. John Jungkook, with a perfectly blank expression, had slid into the seat directly across from Thong, his palms still pressed flat against the wood where he had casually banged it a moment ago. Jungkook. The seat was empty. His cold eyes flickered to Bokum for a second. Thong raised an eyebrow, but said nothing. Susie arrived a moment later, her haze and perfume that stung the nose flutter her teeth. Susie, guess I'm lucky. She took the seat beside Shankar. Thong didn't hide the way he rolled his eyes. Bogangang, did you confirm with the Ogai team for the interview timing? Bogum nodded, answering, yeah, they want us after the runway between 4 to 6. Shankuk's eyes stayed on Thong. Every time Thong laughed just even a little, Shankuk's finger drummed against the wine glass. Susie obviously leaning on Shankuk's shoulder. Susie, Shankuk, you are so quiet tonight. That fight earlier really made you moody. She pouted, gently brushing something off his arm. Shankuk didn't respond. His eyes were too busy watching the way Thong leaned in closer to Bokum, pointing something out on his phone. Maybe a new concept sketch, maybe just an excuse to ignore the presence across the table. Every word between Thong and Bokum was like parasite in Jungkook's brain, and Thong knew it. Thong, without glancing at Jungkook, spoke again. Young, let's try that dual campaign. Shoot again. I think the chemistry is better now. Bokum nodded, smiling, completely unaware of the storm rising opposite him. Susie, oh, maybe next time I can model to Jungkook. We would be great together, no? Jungkook muttered, maybe. But his eyes weren't on Susie. They were locked on Thong, who was now laughing again, and Jungkook's finger curled lightly around his wine glass. He wasn't losing him tonight. Not to Bokum, not to anyone. As everyone laughed and chatted around the long dining table, the door opened and Jungkook's manager stepped inside, holding a sleek black box tied with a royal blue ribbon. All head turned as the manager walked to Jungkook and handed him the box. Without saying a word, Jungkook stood up. The room went quiet. He walked around the table until he stood beside Thong, who buzzed mid-conversation with Bokum. Everyone watched with curiosity as Jungkook gently placed the box down in front of Thong. He leaned in so close Thong could feel his breath on his ear and whispered, "Congratulations on your success, love. This is only for my only one." Gasp and sob squall echoed from around the table, but no one heard what Jungkook whispered, not even a Bokum. Seo Jeon gifting someone something to Thong? Oh, that's so sweet. I ship this. Thong's cheeks turned a soft shade of red. Embarrassed by the sudden attention, he muttered, I don't want it. Jungkook raised an eyebrow. Why not? Thong, I just don't want it. Thong said again, clearly flustered, eyes starting away, biting his lip nervously. Before Jungkook could respond, Suzy suddenly stood up and shrieked, I will keep it. Thong, what? Thong asked, his eyes widening as Suzy snatched the box from him front of him and went to other side of the table, already untying the ribbon. Thong, no, wait, Suzy, He called out, his heart sinking. But it was too late. Susie had already opened the box, and inside were multiple Labubu plushes, each in a different vibrant color: blue, red, pink, green, black, even a rare gold one. They were customized with tiny charms. One had Dong's initial as THV, another over a scarf, just like the one Dong wore during his fan sign last winter. Susie, oh my god, these are so cute! Susie scolded, hugging them all tightly to her chest. They are mine now. Dong sat frozen for a second, then blinked rapidly, his throat tightened, chest heavy. He didn't even look inside. He didn't even get to touch them. A lump formed in his throat as regret hit him. He didn't mean to reject the gift. He was just shy. But now it was gone. And worse, Jungkook didn't say a word to stop her. He couldn't. He could feel the tears welling up in his eyes. He looked down, blinked fast, but one escaped and slid down his seat, embarrassed. He quickly got up from his seat. Bogum, Dong. Bogum called, but Dong didn't answer. He didn't want anyone to see him cry. He rushed out of the restaurant, brushing past the waiter, who tried to ask if he needed help. Leaned against the side of the building, hugging his arm, his breath heavy, his cheeks wet with the tears and the rain which is still pouring. Why do I always do this? I didn't even mean it. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, Cook. I didn't mean to do that. Suddenly an umbrella hovered over him again. He looked up, startled, and see Jungkook standing there, already soaked, chest rising and falling fast. Jungkook, why did you run away like that, Dong? Dong looked away, couldn't hold back his tears, couldn't match Jungkook's eyes, which shows how much hurt he is. Still, talking patiently. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm really sorry, Jungkook. Do you think I got those just to show off in front of everyone, and that's why you rejected it? Dong states nothing, his gaze lowered. I spent a week finding those damn Labi Blulus, whatever they are called. Because you said once in an interview you liked them. You probably don't even remember saying that. Dong's lips trembled and he looked at Jungkook's direction. I do, I remember. Jungkook, then why did you act like you didn't want them? Dong frustrated. Because everyone was watching. I didn't want to be obvious. I didn't want people to know. Jungkook interrupting a little louder. That I love you? Dong's eyes widened, Jungkook's softer voice shaking. Because I do think, and I'm tired of hiding it when you clearly don't want to anymore either. Dong looks down, biting his lip, his finger testing nervously into the fabric of his sleeves. I wanted the gift, Cook. I really did. I just got scared. Then Susie took it and he lets out a choked laugh. Let's turn it into a soap. Jungkook stepped forward, placing an umbrella down and reaching to hold Dong's cheek with both hands. Jungkook whispering, I will get it back. Hell, I will buy every damn plushes in France if that's what it takes. Just don't run away from me, okay? Dong lets out a breathy laugh through his tears. You are already wretched again. Jungkook smirking. We'll have falls on across the sun. If it means reaching you. Dong finally looked into his eyes, heart pounding, and just like that, under the dim light of Paris Tissa, this breeze, Jungkook leaned in, slow, hesitant, but Dong closes the distance, just brushing their lips together in a kiss, so brief it feels like a question, but the answer, Dong whispered it before pulling back slightly. Next time, don't give me gift in front of everyone. I might just kiss you right there. Jungkook smirking. I dare you. They both laughed close to each other. Lips too shy to move to kiss, and then Jungkook hugs him tight, umbrella forgotten, letting the soft rain soak them both. Jungkook, Let's go back. I will get you the gift back. The rain is falling softly, pattering gently against the large black umbrella Shankuk held above them. Tom walked by his side, their arms brushing every now and then, feet moving in sync as they returned from the garden toward the lobby to drop off the umbrella. Shankuk had borrowed from the reception. Neither spoke, but the silence between them comfortable. Shankuk kept stealing glances at Tom, eyes lingering on the soft curve of his cheek, the damp strand of his hair that clung to his forehead, and the slight pinkness on his hair from earlier closeness. Just then, the large glass door of the hotel opened. A wave of people spilled out, staff who had been having dinner inside, followed by foreign delegates and other ambassadors. Laughter echoed, mixed with greeting and camera shutter. Shankuk stepped a little closer to Theong, pulling the umbrella slightly over his side to keep him from the rain. That's when Susie emerged. Susie halted the moment she caught the side before her. Her eyes froze on Shankuk's face, then went toward Theong. Her expression changes. Theong noticed it. He subtly shifted to the side, increasing the distance between them. Him and Shankuk. It wasn't a drastic move, just enough to show caution, a tiny edging distance. Shankuk felt it immediately, his hand gripping the umbrella handle tightly as he looked at the now separated space between them, and then straight ahead towards Susie, whose faint smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Shankuk, the gift, he said flatly, stepping forward. Give it back. Susie froze, her fingers clutching the box, eyes looking between Shankuk and Theong, who now stood silently beside him. Head lowered, eyes focused on the ground, his fingers nervously curled around the hem of his jacket. Susie, why? She asked calmly, tilting her head. He rejected them, so tell me, who are you going to give them to now? Shankuk didn't answer it. That's none of your business. Susie's smile faded into something sharper. Why not? She snapped. They are mine now. I am not giving them to anyone. Staff member nearby had started watching, whispering exchanged between them as the scene unfolded under the cloudy sky. The soft rain blurred the line between the drops and the rising tension. Shankuk took a slow step forward. Susie, give it to him, or the consequences would be good. Susie's eyes widened, her brows furrowed. What? What consequences? She asked, laughing nervously but backing away slightly. What are you going to do? Shankuk's gaze darkened. Worse than you can imagine. Susie's eyes trembled. For a brief second, she looked around, saw the people watching. Fine. You want them so badly, all this. Just for him? She spat, pointing toward Theong. Theong flinched at the sudden attention, eyes still on the ground, trying to disappear into the rain. Shankuk didn't even glance at Theong. Still, none of your business. Susie scoffed. Fine, take them. Take all of them. With that, she ripped open the box and one by one pulled out the soft lavabo splashes. Shankuk had carefully picked out each one personalized, colorful form, and she suddenly threw them in the muddy ground, gas secured from those nearby. The toys landed on the full dirt, their soft floor instantly darkened and soaked by the wet earth. Some bounced, others landed face down in the dirt. Shankuk faced clenched. Theong looked up, eyes wide with shock, and Susie stood there, chest having victorious smile. The moment the plushies hit the rain-soaked ground, time froze. Gas echoed in the air, and then Theong fell on his knees. Without a second thought, he reached out with trembling hands and began gathering the plushies. Now soaked in mud, he took them in his arms. His fingers shook as he clutched them tightly to his chest, rain mixing with the tears streaming down in his face. Theong choking. No, 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 please. The box Susie had thrown lay discarded beside him, mud splashing across the plush floor. But Tong didn't care. His entire body trembled as he held them, as if holding something sacred. Jungkook immediately crouches beside him, worried. He touched Tong's socket shoulder. Jungkook, Tong, they are dirty now. I will get you new one. Throw them away, please. Tong shook his head violently, backing away slightly, tightening his hold. No, I won't. I won't throw them away, he said while sobbing. Jungkook gently. They. Tong desperately, eyes looking on Jungkook. They are from you, Jungkook. I don't care if they are dirty. I don't care if they are running. They are precious to me. I will never throw them away. There was silence. Even Susie looked stunned. Jungkook stressed aside as he looked at the boy crying over the running cape, not because of their condition but because of who gave them to him. Jungkook whispering, You, you really want to have them? Tong barely audible. I never stopped myself from dreaming to get gifts from you. Never. Continued to fall, but neither of them moved. All that mattered was between the two of them. Jungkook watching the boy who still held onto his love like it was the only thing that kept him alive. After what felt like forever, Jungkook gently pulled Tong to his feet, his arm protectively wrapping around the boy's trembling frame. Jungkook softly brushing the wet hair from Tong's face. I promise you, I will give to a new one the same pleasures, even softer, even cuter. Just come with me, please. Tong looked down at his socket plushes, still pressed to his chest. His grip loosened a little, his eyes sullen and red, lifting to Jungkook's again, searching. And this time, Tong didn't resist. He nodded. Tong, okay. Jungkook exhaled, relieved. He gently took Tong's hand and led him toward the back car parked just nearby. The driver opened the door and Tong slid inside quietly, still holding the splashes. Jungkook stayed behind, shutting the door carefully. His gaze lingered on Tong before he turned it away. Assistant. Sir. Jungkook turned it cold and focused again. He walked to his assistant. Call them, ask them to customize it again, exactly like before. I want it delivered within morning, no delays. Assistant nodding, already pulling out his phone. Understood. The assistant stepped a few steps away, beginning the call as instructed. Jungkook stood still for a bit, his eyes flickered toward the car where Tong waited inside, silently watching through the window. Behind them, murmurs began to rise among the crowd. What's going on between them? He caught in Jungkook's car. Is he really back with him? Why was he crying like that? Like they are precious? But first thing, they looked so in love but hurt. What's going on between the CEO and the ambassador? The whispers spread quickly like wine before the storm. Rumors were already spreading online, offline, everywhere. But Jungkook didn't care. He turned it back to the car, stepping in quietly and sitting beside Tong, who was silently staring at the dashboard, socket plushes still on his lap. Jungkook softly, let's go home.